Have you ever woken up and thought, what was that dream trying to tell me? It's like your brain sends you a mysterious message, but in a language only it can understand. And here's the wild part. Scientists still don't actually know what dreams are. In this era of crazy technology, dreams remain the brain's biggest secret. Imagine this. Every night, your brain becomes a movie director with zero budget, yet somehow produces the weirdest scenes ever. Some say dreams are messages. Some say they're mental trash. But scientists discovered something that makes the mystery even deeper. In the emotional part of your brain, activity goes wild while you sleep, almost like your brain is talking to you using strange symbolic images. Being chased by a dinosaur? Falling off a skyscraper? Running into your ex in a forest? These patterns actually have reasons, even if we don't consciously understand them. Scientists tried peeking into dreams using brain scanning machines. They tracked patterns, matched signals, and compared them to images you saw. Shockingly, they could guess rough shapes of what you were dreaming about. But the meaning is still blurry, like a whisper from the brain you can barely hear. And that leads to the big question. If dreams aren't messages, why does the brain bother creating these strange nightly movies? Why not just give us darkness? Is it training? A warning? A life simulation? Or maybe the brain's way of speaking honestly, without any filter? Every time you fall asleep, your brain never truly rests. It becomes even busier, sorting memories, weighing emotions, rearranging everything you went through. Dreams become a dark conference room where your brain decides on things you're not ready to face when awake. Some researchers believe dreams are danger simulations, a survival training game. That's why so many dreams are full of threats, being chased, falling, losing something. According to this theory, your brain creates extreme scenarios to prepare you for the real world. But some dreams are gentle, like meeting someone who's no longer here, or returning to a place that feels like home. Scientists call this emotional reconstruction, the brain's way of processing loss without breaking you while you're awake. But there's something that truly confuses scientists. Why do dreams feel too real sometimes? Sometimes even more real than reality itself. Eyes closed, body still, yet the world in your mind feels alive, like a hidden dimension only accessible in sleep. And after all these studies, scientists reached a conclusion that's strange but honest. Maybe dreams aren't messages from the brain. Maybe they're reflections of who you really are, your fears, desires, and secrets, finally brave enough to appear when you're unconscious. But here comes the wild part. Even though dreams come from your own brain, you can't control them. It's like another version of you, braver, more honest, takes the wheel while you sleep and tells a story without asking permission. We've all felt that, right? A dream that makes you wake up feeling suddenly nostalgic for someone, or afraid of something that never bothered you before. A tiny dream, but it can shift your whole mood for the day, as if the dream whispers, "Hey, you've been hiding something." And here's something weirder. The brain tends to repeat certain themes in our dreams. The same fear, the same place, the same character. Scientists still don't fully understand why, but they know one thing. It means your brain is trying to solve something. Think about it. If dreams were just mental garbage, why do they feel so strong? Why do they stay with you all day? Why does the same dream come back years later? The answer is starting to show. Because dreams aren't about the future. They're not signs, not predictions. They're about you, your unfinished wounds, your buried desires, and your unspoken thoughts that finally surface when you're unconscious. And at this point, you start to realize something. Dreams are like a mirror you cannot lie to. A mirror showing parts of you you rarely dare to look at. Sometimes comforting, sometimes terrifying. Scientists found that during dreams, the part of the brain responsible for logic becomes weaker, while the emotional center lights up intensely. That's why dreams look strange. But the feelings? They're completely real. The emotion hits, even if the picture makes no sense. So, are dreams messages? Coincidences? Or maybe tiny whispers from the brain you shut off during the day? Every theory has an answer, but none of them are certain. And finally, the simplest answer appears. Dreams aren't messages from the brain. Dreams are conversations, a dialogue between your conscious and unconscious mind, each night trying to connect who you are, what you feel, and what you fear. So when you dream again tonight, whether it's beautiful or bizarre, listen for a moment. Maybe it's not predicting your future, but telling you something far more important, something about you. Because the truth is, dreams don't come from somewhere mysterious. They come from you, from what you feel, what you secretly think, and what you avoid when you're awake. Dreams are the most honest voice you have. And what's beautiful is this. Every human on Earth, kids, adults, the elderly, all dream things that feel strangely similar, even though our lives are completely different. It's like there's a universal language that only speaks when we sleep. Scientists can explain brainwaves, neural activity, and the sleep stages where dreams appear. But why dreams touch the heart? Why they make us miss someone, fear something, or feel alive? That part has no formula yet. So beyond all the theories, one thing remains certain. Dreams are tiny windows into our own minds. Windows that open without permission, revealing things we usually keep hidden. And in the end, the real question isn't, what does the dream mean? But, what is the dream trying to make you feel? Because sometimes, the answer isn't in the images. It's in your heart when you wake up. Have you ever felt like a dream is an echo? like a voice from something long ago coming back just to whisper, "Hey, this isn't finished yet." Sometimes it's small. Sometimes it's a wound you thought you forgot. Scientists say dreams happen while the brain reorganizes memories, but emotions get pulled into the process too. That's why a dream can make you sad out of nowhere, even if you don't know why. It's your brain sending a signal. There's a feeling you need to look at. And here's the funny thing. The brain doesn't use normal language in dreams. It speaks in symbols: doors, water, darkness, light, even people who left your life long ago. They're like secret letters you can only understand if you dare to look deeper. And still, no scientist can answer one question. Why do dreams feel so real when they exist only in the mind? How can the brain create entire worlds so convincing in just minutes or seconds? But maybe that's exactly where the magic is. That our brain can build a new world every night, and all of it connects back to one thing: the most honest version of who we truly are. Imagine that every time you sleep, you enter a tiny world built by your own brain. A world only you have access to, made of memories, hopes, fears, and the things you quietly hide. It's not just a dream, it's your world. And here's the interesting part. Sometimes that world mixes with reality. You dream of places you've been, people you've met, or events from yesterday. Reality and imagination blend together, as if your brain is reorganizing your life. Research shows that the brain uses dreams to integrate unresolved emotions. If you're stressed, scared, in love, your brain may bring all of that into dreams, wrapped in strange symbols. Not because it's weird, but because your brain is trying to tell you what you feel. And here's the part we rarely notice. What we see in dreams may be absurd, but what we feel in them is real. Sometimes even more honest than how we feel in real life. Because when you sleep, there's no mask, no pretending. So every dream, no matter how small, is a little door your brain opens for you. A door showing the parts you hide, or the parts quietly growing. And if you're brave enough to look, you'll start to understand something important. At this point, you start to see that dreams aren't just nighttime entertainment. They're like secret mirrors showing you what you feel, even when you can't describe it. Mirrors that only appear when you're asleep. And funny enough, the brain is most honest when you're unconscious. It speaks freely, with no filters and no reason to lie. That's why you wake up sometimes and think, why on earth did I dream that? Because that's the honest voice you rarely hear. Dreams are also like a little box filled with things you keep hidden. Little desires you bury, fears you disguise, and the longing you pretend isn't there. When you sleep, that box opens. Every night, you travel to strange places that make no logical sense. But if you look closely, there's always a pattern. It's a journey toward understanding yourself in the most private way possible. So if you ask, where do dreams come from? The answer is simple, yet deep. Dreams come from the part of you that wants to be heard, but never gets space when you're awake. When you sleep, the quiet voice inside you finally dares to speak. The voice you never hear because you're too busy while awake. It appears as strange images, but its message is clear. I want you to notice me. Your brain isn't just a calculating machine. It's a storyteller. It takes pieces of your life, the joyful ones, the painful ones, the forgotten ones, and stitches them together into an abstract story called a dream. Sometimes beautiful, sometimes chaotic, but always intentional. Dreams are the place where the second layer of reality appears, where things you thought were unimportant suddenly mean everything, where tiny emotions become loud voices, where forgotten memories return without warning. Because what dreams do is bring you back to the source, to the raw emotions you bury. That's why dreams can make you cry, make you happy, or make you miss someone you thought you'd moved on from. And when these pieces come together, you start to understand that dreams aren't mysterious messages from outside, not magical symbols to decode, but emotional experiences showing who you are inside more clearly than words ever could. In the end, dreams are the purest, most unfiltered version of you. A you that isn't buried by responsibilities, isn't shaped by people's expectations, isn't forced to be strong, isn't pretending to be okay. In dreams, you are you, without censorship. And dreams aren't only about darkness. There's light too. The joyful dreams, the nostalgic ones, the ones that make you smile the moment you wake up. Those are parts of you as well, parts that want to be remembered. And here's the funny thing. Even with all our advanced technology, scientists still don't have a final answer. They can read brainwaves, predict shapes of dreams, analyze emotional patterns. But why do we dream is still a mystery. And maybe the answer isn't in science at all. Maybe dreams aren't meant to be solved, but felt. Like a song you love with no reason, or a place that calms you without logic. Because sometimes, dreams aren't meant to be understood. They're meant to guide you, to bring you closer to yourself, to say the things you're too afraid to hear while awake. And when you've followed all these layers, you reach a point where dreams stop being puzzles and become the final mirror. A mirror that doesn't just show your past, but who you are right now. Because in the end, the source of dreams is not a magical place, not another realm, not some mysterious universe. The source is you, your fears, your love, your wounds, your longing, and the tiny hopes you keep hidden. Dreams are the brain's way of stitching together all your parts, the ones you ignore, the ones you're proud of, the ones you hide. All of them woven into a single story, a story only you can understand. And if you listen closely, dreams always carry the same message. You're not as okay as you pretend. You're not as unbreakable as you act. But also, you're stronger than you think. Dreams are honest, but gentle. And now, you're just one step away from understanding what dreams have been trying to tell you. Not predictions, not warnings, but a quiet truth about who you are, finally trying to surface. And as you approach that final door, you realize something simple yet profound. That every dream, beautiful, strange, or frightening, isn't meant to be overanalyzed. It's meant to be felt. Your brain just wants you to pause and be honest with your own heart. When the door opens, you see your truest self. Without the wounds you hide, without the masks you wear, without the noise that shapes your days. Just you. The version that has been speaking through dreams all along. And finally, you understand. Dreams aren't secret messages from the brain. Dreams are the way your mind makes you whole again. A way to connect your past, unravel your emotions, and rebalance your heart in a world that's far too loud. So from now on, when you have a strange dream, or a dream that makes you miss someone, or one that wakes you with a heavy chest, remember this: a dream isn't a disturbance. It's part of your healing. And if you ask again, are dreams messages from the brain? The answer is, dreams are messages from you. The version of you that finally speaks when the world goes quiet.